Māori song called Pokari Kariana, which allows the energies of spirit to build and my nerves to settle. If you know the song, I welcome all participation, and even if it's just humming. Pokari Kariana, no waiorotorua, fiti ate koine, marino anae, teine, oki maira, kamate au, ite arohane, tui tui takureta, tuku atu takurini, kia kita koini, maru maru anae, teine, oki maira, kamate alo, ite arohane, fati fati taku tene, kopo aku pepa, o taku aroha, mo tonu anae, teine, oki maira, kamate aho, ite arohane, kamate aho, ite arohane. Okay. I would like to begin with saying each one of us will have some challenge or multiple challenges that must be faced. For example, today my greatest challenge is to speak with you via Zoom while sitting in my home and not the usual physical group gathering that makes it easier to connect to spirit because of the vibrant energy that is created by a group of people in the same room. This morning, I was inspired to write, which is what I enjoy doing, and by sharing with you will help me to let go of the fear I have about speaking via this media. And I also welcome guidance from Spirit as I share with you. The reason for beginning my talk like this, because as each person is awakening to their new reality, what they thought was and what actually is now different. Part of awakening is to realize that there are some things that we need to be open to see. Although it may evoke emotional turmoil for a period of time. We are at a crossroad in our human experiential way of life, where we are compelled to make monumental changes in everyday routines, staying home and only venturing out beyond the boundaries for food, or an hour of daily exercise whilst remaining in a forced 5k radius. Combine this with our other challenges, such as work life, family, finances, mental health and well-being, brings into focus so many issues at once that it can be extraordinarily overwhelming. Isolation and separation from loved ones, especially if one lives alone, makes it even more difficult to balance and quieten internal conflict at this point in time. One factor that is highlighted during this period brings opportunity to examine one way of thinking and learning to let go of all that does not serve the higher soul advancement. No matter what circumstance you find yourself living at this present point in time, does not mean you have no choice. Last night I asked Spirit, before going to sleep, how do we overcome challenges that seem insurmountable? And this is what I dreamt. The saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, my teacher appeared to me wearing a white hard hat, dressed in work clothes that resembled the 50s or 60s era. He had on a full utility belt full of tools and a ladder by his side. With a warm smile, bright, clear eyes, he exuded a feeling of calm that I felt very safe in his presence. He told me that there are many ways to view a problem, just as there are many ways to solve them. For instance, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end. He seemed amused by saying this, although I wasn't really amused. In my dream, I remember that I needed to make a choice. However, my fear was preventing me from making any choice at all, which put me into a very confused state, which led me not wanting to make any choice at all. And the guide pointed out, just because I didn't make a choice didn't mean I had not made one. For not making one, I had made one. This one was called avoidance. And just because I avoided the uncomfortableness of it all, resulted in me remaining in limbo and no result. He then took my hand, and somehow it seemed like I was flying up the ladder. Again he said, when you are conflicted within, it is simply a trigger to remind you that you have imagined the worst possible outcome in your mind. So the guide asked me, if your mind is making decisions on the intended imagined outcomes, what are you doing? That question suddenly turned my whole thinking upside down, inside out. And I really was befuddled at what he had asked me. And I just stood dumbfounded and silent because I didn't know what I was. Because when I thought about what my mind can imagine, I realised every decision I ever make and think about, I observe my mind and its thinking pattern when I do it. So I must be more than my mind. And I stood there silent for some time in absolute puzzlement. And then I suddenly stared into the eyes of my guide, and he started to smile back at me. And as I stared into his eyes, I suddenly and unexpectedly realized, aha, I am the observer. I am infinite light energy. I am the boundless of knowing of all that is and what was and will be. I am the spark of creation, of which we all belong. If I am part of that, and you are part of that, then there is nothing that cannot be created together, if we desire it enough. Therefore, I am what I am, and you are what you are. Everything is possible. Suddenly, the restrictive boundlessness, boundaries and rules become limitless to me. So what I have learned overcoming insurmountable challenges is that my mind is forgetting its place, and I am the one in charge. Yes, infinite light and energy, of boundless knowing. If we can conceive together a frequency of love and peace, imagine what creations we can make and the changes we can create in our living circumstances. The difference between a fearful decision and a powerful decision is the outcome. A fear response will trigger a physical response, like some throat or stomach headache, things like that. A powerful response will trigger a solution that benefits more than just myself, rather me, family, and community. Before the guide left me, he told me each decision made that contains this question prior to any action will usually trigger the exact response. And that is, will everyone in this situation benefit, or will I be the only benefactor? Another thing I learned from my encounter, that when I am faced with having to make choices, I will include self-exploratory questions like will everyone benefit, or will only I? My friends, my guide would like to say, during this time that pulls everything into question, do not be afraid. For when you begin to understand the power that you truly are, and that we are all part of that power, there is nothing that can be changed. And if you lift your frequency, that is all that is required. You then lift others' frequencies that surround you. And if many more lift their frequencies and send out the vibration of love, that is where my changes and your changes occur. We are all gathered here at this time and come closer to you for your challenges. It is a time of great awakening, and we have waited a while for you all to awaken. Some of you will still refuse to awaken, and that is how it is to be. However, if you choose to rise and go with us on this journey, and I say all of us, it only requires you to be curious and to become non-attached to the fear. Remind yourself that when you imagine something negative, it is only your mind being chaotic. If you want to quiet your chaoticness, it only requires you to simply remember who you truly are, infinite possibilities, and you are wired in to all of us. We are on many planes, and we are here with you. There will be more changes to come, but my friends, do not think for a moment that you are on your own. At this time, I would like to say, it is important that you hold close those that you love in your heart and your thoughts. Do not see them in negative light, but surround them with white light. Surround all those you care for in white light, because it is hard for the darkness, I wish to say, to come in when you are full of light. And if you find it hard to imagine light, just think it. Whatever it requires for you to lock in to our vibration. Good afternoon, my friends. I come to you also to bring you the message of hope from where I once worked in the mountains. And we sang to nature through the Om. We are all here in spirit. And if you attune yourself to the you will hear us all calling to you to be part of it. This is a time of frequency, and we cannot express it enough, that you must lift. The great awakening is knowing who you truly are. You are the beam of light. You are energy. You are boundless. Do not be afraid, my friends. We are here. Our message is simple. When you feel frightened, just know it is not you, but rather somebody trying to push themselves onto you. You are more than that. There are great energies at this time. I do not want to say war, because that is not the correct term, but I am having trouble finding the word to express the mix of energies of light and dark. There is more light in this world at this time. However, it is still fragile. We left in 2012 to let you make the changes. It also allowed other entities to enter this realm. We have all returned because we now realize that it is not a time for you all to be alone. We are here, all of us, from many dimensions, from many planets. You are not alone. Gather your strength and be strong. My friends, there are many of us, just as there are many of you. The light is strong and it grows each day. My friends, the message, be strong. Seek truth. Seek the light. We are there. Thank you.